In Jurassic Park, our first look at Velociraptors depicts them as being a dull brown in an entirely female population, and in the Lost World, we are introduced to the male Velociraptors, which are brighter in color and adorned with tiger stripes. However, in Jurassic Park 3, we are shown two new-looking raptor groups, with this film's version of the female being white with black spots, and the males having a blue stripe down their backs and feather-like quills on the tops of their heads. Due to the fact that the second and third films take place on separate parts of Isla Sorna, I think it's safe to say that these differing raptors come from different tribes on the island. One pack dominating the southern part, as depicted in the Lost World, and the other staking territory in the northern part, where the events of Jurassic Park 3 take place. Color variations are one thing, but the presence of quills on the skulls of the males in Jurassic Park 3 is very different from what we saw in the original film, with some audience members speculating that they believe the raptors were evolving and becoming more akin to their real-life counterparts, with downy feathers, and could also be becoming smarter. In the film Jurassic Park 3, we are never given a definite reason for the variation in Velociraptor groups, but if one is to look at Michael Crichton's original novel for reference, as well as the Masrani backdoor site, which shares evidence on the creation of the Spinosaurus through gene splicing, we can have an idea of what may have been happening behind the scenes on Isla Sorna and why some dinosaurs look vastly different from film to film. In the novel, Dr. Wu and Hammond have a lengthy and heated discussion about what the perfect dinosaur could possibly be, with Hammond not taking Henry seriously and constantly disagreeing with the scientist's ideas. Henry believed that even though they had created the dinosaurs as perfectly as possible through the introduction of amphibian DNA into their gene pool, they could experiment further and create dinosaurs that were aesthetically more pleasing to the visitors of the park. Hammond hated the idea of tampering with what they had already done and insisted that what they had was real dinosaurs, to which Henry would constantly reiterate that none of the animals were in fact real, and that InGen and Jurassic Park itself had a chance to create whatever animal they chose to design with this new power they had created. Hammond, being already defensive against Ian Malcolm's insistence that dinosaurs don't belong on Earth anymore, wasn't having any of Wu's Frankenstein conjecture, and thought that the amphibian DNA was enough. That was the only thing that separated these new animals and their original ancestors, and Wu wanted to mess that all up by creating things he felt would better satisfy the consumers. And in the backdoor website for Masrani, we learned that he actually had done just that, albeit by accident. Wu's creation of a creature he left behind on Isla Sorna in his experiments with the gene splicing was very motivating for him. He would continue to try and cease the involvement of what he called the null allele, which prevented the dinosaurs from having feathers. And because of these past events, one can expect that he would still be in love with the idea of changing any dinosaurs he could to better test his skills of genetics. In Jurassic Park 3, both the Spinosaur and this variation of raptors are present, and both have yet to appear in any future installments of the series. While we are aware that the base raptors are only brown, as shown in the original film, and their males are the tiger-striped variety, we have no real explanation as to why these raptors look so differently from their earlier kin. Isla Sorna is a gigantic island, and it's the main island InGen conducted all of its cloning and genetic research, which would be a great point for the argument that this pack of raptors was a Henry Wu created variant. However, another idea is thought amongst fans as well. Some have speculated that the raptors are simply working the amphibian DNA out of their systems after being left to breed and reproduce alone, and that the dinosaurs are actually becoming more like they were millions of years ago because of this. I find this theory interesting, but a little flawed in seeing that it took them quite a short period of time to evolve back into their true selves without even going into detail about how that's really extreme on a genetic level. Oddly enough, the raptors aren't the only dinosaurs with different versions though, seeing as how several other species have looked different from film to film. If you're interested in seeing a video done on the other species, let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep up to date with the latest content. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you drop me a like. As always guys, take it easy.